Howdy peeps, and welcome back to the channel. A fairly quick one today. We are at Surlingham, St Saviours, a ruined church. Now Surlingham is how it's spelt. It's probably pronounced more like Solemn, to be honest. It's Norfolk. We do drop a lot of letters out of names if we can. Now this church is famous for one thing and one person, but we'll get to that in a bit. What I'll do is I'll turn the camera around so I can actually see, and you can see something more interesting than my ugly mug. Try and do this properly. There we go. So we'll aim up at a very large oak tree in the distance. So it's a prominent and St Saviours is what was a prominent and evocative landmark overlooking the Yare Valley just south of Norwich. It's an early Norman, late 11th century foundation, notable for its large coursed flint work and an axial tower plan. Originally two parishes in Surlingham, Solemn, but St Saviours was linked to the nearby Surlingham Manor. I'm going to keep calling it Surlingham because, you know, I'm not actually from Norfolk. And by the 13th century was under the control of the Abbess of Carrow Abbey. We're going to get some background and wildlife shots in as well because it's a very, very pretty place. We're actually in the middle of what is a nature reserve now. Carrow Abbey, which was in Carrow village, no longer exists. It has been fully subsumed into Norwich. There's a wild Mary. And obviously gave its name to the football ground, Carrow Road, where Norwich play, apparently. After that, it was owned by the Martineau family, famous for Martineau Lane in Norwich, and then the Coleman family, famous for the mustard, also a big Norwich famous thing. Proper English Coleman's mustard, can't beat it. Makes you make American burger mustard basically. It's like just putting vinegar on your hot dog, don't bother. Anyway, as the population's declined, St Saviours was subsumed into St Mary's Church, which is half a mile away at most through the nature reserve. And in 1705 is when it was subsumed to St Mary's. I'm going to go this way and let Mary go around the other way. There are actually some fairly recent grave markers up here, but we're going to go get some pretty pictures. The process of decay of the church we are at, St Saviours, was accelerated somewhat by robbing out for the building materials for local farms and houses and outdoor toilets and that kind of thing. But the main thing, excuse the rough walking, but you know, we're not on a tarmac path and I'm trying to carry a camera at the same time. And there are holes. But the main thing this wonderful little church is known for, as we have a look through some of the trail into some of the church marsh and fen, is this particular pair of graves right down here. And this is Mr. Ted Ellis, 1909 to 1986. I do apologise for stepping on you, Ted, but I hope you don't mind. as you might be able to tell by the simple grave marker, he wasn't into these kind of things, and he was a writer and known as the people's naturalist, not naturist. Sorry, I couldn't resist the joke. And founder and curator of the Wheat Fen Nature Reserve, which is currently literally just a couple of miles down the road. The ruins here were actually repaired and preserved in 2011. And there we have Phyllis Mary Ellis, Nay Chambers, 1913-2004. Now, Sharpie, you're asking, because I know what you people are like. Why are you so interested in the grave of some naturalist who died in the 80s? Well, when I was at high school, we were divided up into different houses. 4, in fact. Buxton, Holman, Cheshire and Ellis. And I was in Ellis House, named after Ted Ellis himself. And his wife, Phyllis Mary, actually came and gave us a talk on the nature reserve in school assembly. The one assembly I actually paid attention to and enjoyed. So I have a kind of distant but personal relationship with these wonderful people and for all they've done for nature conservation in this area and in general throughout the UK as well. At some point in the future we will take a wander around the actual Wheat Fen Nature Reserve. So that is the Church Marsh Reserve over there. Home to all sorts of interesting and rare creatures and buzzy things and flowery things and planty things. No, I've not taken anything. But there we go. A relatively quick one today. As I said, there's not much of a ruin left, as it all got robbed for building materials. But I'll say, we really came here to see Mr. Ellis. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you may have enjoyed, if not the inane waffling, then at least the beautiful backgrounds and the rare sighting of a wild Mary. Don't forget to do the usuals, the like, the comment, the subscribe. It really does all help the channel and me. Memberships are also open if you're feeling super generous. If you can't, don't worry, times are tough. I know this. But anyway, have a good day. Peace out. And have fun.